Somewhere out there, a grown adult is currently panicking over a shirt button. Not a spider, not a cliff edge, a button. And it's a real, documented, clinically recognized phobia, along with 5 others so strange you'll assume we made them up. We didn't. Here's what's actually happening in the brain behind 6 of the weirdest fears that genuinely exist. Let's start with the one that sounds the most made up. Phobia, fear of buttons. For some people, just the sight of a row of buttons on a shirt triggers real nausea and a full urge to leave the room. And some avoid button-up clothing entirely for their whole lives because of it. The leading theory isn't really about the button at all. It's texture and pattern. Rigid, evenly spaced circular shapes, especially the slightly puckered fabric around a buttonhole, trip the same disgust reflex that helped your ancestors avoid rashes, blisters, and skin infections. Your brain isn't afraid of getting hurt by a button. It's running an ancient hygiene scan, and buttons happen to visually resemble something it was built to reject on sight, long before any conscious thought kicks in. Next, one that makes something you touch every single day genuinely unsettling for some people. Omphalophobia, fear of belly buttons. Not other people's necessarily, often specifically their own. Some people can't stand touching it, looking at it, or even having it exposed at the beach or pool, and will actively cover it with clothing regardless of the weather. Researchers link this one to a mix of disgust and vulnerability. The belly button is a permanent, visible reminder of a wound, sitting directly over one of the most exposed parts of the body. For a nervous system whose entire job is protecting your vital organs, a hole-shaped scar right above them can register as a soft spot worth avoiding entirely, even though it healed over years before you could ever form a single conscious memory of the injury itself. Number 3 is one that turns your own reflection into something genuinely upsetting. Isoptrophobia, fear of mirrors. This isn't vanity or self-consciousness. It's a real fear of the reflective surface itself, often tied to superstition around what a mirror is believed to reveal or reflect back. Historically, mirrors have carried an enormous amount of folklore. Broken mirrors as bad luck, reflections as a second self, portals in countless ghost stories passed down long before anyone could explain how glass and silvering actually work. For someone with this phobia, the brain doesn't process a mirror as glass and silver at all. It processes it as an unpredictable, uncanny surface that might show something it isn't supposed to. And in a dim room or unfamiliar house, that ambiguity alone is enough to trigger a full threat response before a single rational thought catches up. Now, one that sounds like a joke until you actually meet someone who has it. Triskaidekaphobia, fear of the number 13. Entire buildings skip the 13th floor because of this. Some airlines skip row 13 entirely, and some hospitals avoid the number on patient room doors. It's almost entirely cultural rather than instinctive. Humans aren't born afraid of a number. We absorb the association from everyone around us. But once a superstition gets repeated enough, generation after generation, city after city, the brain starts treating the number itself as an omen. And omens get flagged by the exact same threat system that watches for actual physical danger. It's a phobia built almost entirely out of shared belief, which makes it one of the clearest examples of just how much of fear is learned rather than wired in from birth. Number 5 might be the strangest entry on any phobia list anywhere. Arachibutyrophobia, fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. It sounds invented. It isn't, and it's specific enough that it's named after the exact sensation, not the food itself. For people with this phobia, the sensation of thick, unmoving material clinging to soft tissue inside the mouth triggers a disgust and choking adjacent response, even with zero actual risk of choking involved. Your mouth and throat are packed with sensors built to detect anything that shouldn't be there, and a texture that refuses to clear on its own, no matter how much you swallow or swirl your tongue, reads to that system as a genuine problem, not just an inconvenient snack. And finally, one dairy lovers everywhere will find almost impossible to imagine. Turophobia, fear of cheese. Not disliking the taste, an actual fear response to its smell, texture, or appearance, sometimes even in photographs, strong enough that some people leave the room the moment a cheese board comes out at a party. This one is thought to trace back to strong, early associations, since cheese carries an unusually distinct combination of smell and texture that the brain can lock onto after just one bad experience. The same way certain smells can trigger nausea years after a single bout of food poisoning that had nothing to do with the food itself. Once that link forms, the brain doesn't need cheese to actually be dangerous. It just needs to have flagged it once, and it will keep reflagging it indefinitely unless that specific association gets consciously unlearned. 6 phobias, 6 completely different triggers, and one thing every single one of them proves: fear doesn't need to make logical sense to feel completely real. Your brain doesn't require a rational threat, just a pattern it's decided to treat like one. Which one surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments, and if you know an even weirder one, we want to hear it. Subscribe, there's more nobody's telling you.